If you didn't know, farming the newly updated Vault of Glass weapons is extremely easy to do right now. One encounter in particular, actually, that we'll be going over today. And because it's the featured raid in D2 right now, you can farm it on repeat for good loot. Even if you've never touched this raid before, I'll walk you through the farm. Trust me, you can do this. Also, again, I recommend doing it now before Bungie maybe fixes it. Today's video ain't spilling any beans, by the way. They are fully aware of what is going on right now, so act now before the party is over. In the second half of today's video, we'll go over what VOG weapons you'll get using this farming method and the God Rolls to keep an eye out for. If you want a full VOG farming guide for the future, let me know down in the comment section, but for right now, the super easy Templar encounter. Historically, the Templar has always been easy to farm, but he's getting cooked in a matter of seconds right now, even on Master, thanks to the recent rework to Lord of Wolves, which, again, if you didn't know, is doing crazy high damage right now, by the way. You can farm the Templar on normal or Master difficulty. Why farm on Master? Well, because beating the Templar on Master means you get a guaranteed Adept Fatebringer. Well, technically Timelost, but it's the same thing. You can use Adept weapon mods and it looks better. If you use the first method I'm about to show you, farming it on Master really actually isn't that hard. Worst thing that happens is one of you might take too much damage from the Templar and die during DPS, but you can still complete the farm, and again, guaranteed Timelost Fatebringer every time. You can farm the Templar on normal difficulty if you like. No Timelost weapon drop for you though, only a regular version of one of the following 3 guns, but hey, at least a chance for a double normal weapon drop. Again, God roll talk at the end of the video. First thing you gotta do is get a checkpoint. And I mean, you could do the raid normally up to that point, or if you really don't mind upsetting the spirit of Dado, who is always currently watching over us, by the way. Luckbot9 is still up and going strong, hashtag not an ad. They currently have checkpoints for the Templar on normal and on Master difficulty, so hop on over there, follow the instructions in the chat, and you'll have an in-game checkpoint in no time. If you're a newer player, checkpoint bots are a known thing, and no, Bungie does not seem to care, nor should they, IMO. Load one up or just do the raid, I don't care, but when you get to the Templar encounter, save the checkpoint on one character, then be sure to swap to a different character for farming it so you don't lose the checkpoint. There are several ways of doing this, and I'll start with what I consider to be by far and away the easiest method, but I will show you other methods if you're mildly intimidated by the technique. And don't worry, I won't tell anyone. For the easy method, have one person on your team, maybe a person with decent technical input skill, have them equip an eager edge sword and then stand off to the far right of the rally flag drop point and then do the following. 1. Take out your sword. 2. Begin holding the button to drop your rally flag. 3. When the rally flag circle is about to finish, hit the button on your sword for heavy swing. If you do it correctly, it should look like this. Rewind. Again, you will launch yourself forward as you drop the rally flag, ideally moving it very close to where the relic is. That is what you're aiming to accomplish. The player on the team who launches the encounter, who can either be the same person who dropped the rally flag or another person with an eager edge sword, I guess, they should begin rallying and immediately sword over to the relic and grab it as fast as they can. You know how when you rally at the rally flag, you get a full super meter right away? Well, if you rally and then immediately pick up the relic right after, the rally flag winds up charging your relic meter to full. With an instantly full relic meter, you can use it to shoot and break the Templar shield right away, and the DPS team can get to work immediately. Basically, you completely skip the Oracle phase using this method and jump directly to DPS, so it's what I recommend you try doing. It's really easy. The only other thing the relic holder needs to worry about during the fight is then going around the map and blocking the Templar from teleporting. If you've never done it before, it's not too hard. Just look for the big glowing ring around the map, indicating that the Templar wants to teleport there. If you just move over there and stand in the ring, you prevent him from teleporting, and remember to look out for more rings. The DPS team's job is easy. When the Templar shields go down, you drop a Well of Radiance on this ledge right here, whip out Lord of Wolves, and hold down hip fire until the robot don't move no mo. Obviously, that should be paired together with trip solar weapon surges, ×3 time dilation, and some solar reloaders. Again, strongly recommend that method, but if you feel like you can't get the eager edge rally flag technique down, down? You could always just do the encounter normally. My old guide is still laying around on YouTube. Here's another method though, but this one we had more success with on normal difficulty. Have everyone rally up and meet at the bottom of the staircase by the relic. One person grab the relic and everybody hide together out of sight. Wait for the oracles to appear. You'll hear 3 distinct in-game musical chimes and do nothing until you fail the oracle mechanic intentionally. You'll know you failed because you'll all be marked at the same time. At that point, the entire fire team should move out together into the pool to be cleansed of their mark. Then go up that big staircase a little bit right in front of the Templar, drop a Warlock Well, and Lord of Wolves hipfire time. The relic holder will still have to move around blocking potential teleportation though. This can work on Master, but we found we were dying way more frequently when trying to DPS from the staircase as opposed to the ledge. Again, worked extremely easy on normal difficulty though, if you don't want to attempt the eager edge sword technique I showed you earlier. One other note regarding your loadout: if you don't have the Lord of Wolves exotic catalyst, honestly that is fine. You might miss out on a little bit of free scorch damage, but the vast majority of the damage dealt comes from the gun directly. Remember to maximize your chances of succeeding by having on 10 Resil as well as Void Resist and Concussive Dampener on your chest armor. Alright, let's talk God Rolls. Again, farming this encounter can give you Vision of Confluence, Corrective Measure, or Fatebringer. Personally, I'm hyped about Fatebringer and Corrective Measure, not so much about Vision, but I'm not really a scout rifle guy. Why don't we start with Fatebringer? Again, Timelost if you farm on Master, which again, I really think you should try. PvE rolls, the 3 I think you should look out for the most in no particular order: Explosive Payload and One for All, Kinetic Tremors and the all-new Elemental Honing, and Kinetic Tremors and Frenzy. Explosive Payload and One for All is a classic. Explosive Payload weapons do a hair more damage in PvE, and One for All is a really easy primary weapon damage buff that gives an extra 35%. Good pairing. Kinetic Tremors and Elemental Honing is fun. I'm sure most of us are familiar with Kinetic Tremors by now and how great they are, but Elemental Honing is brand new. Basically, every time you deal damage with a different element, you get a damage buff stack up to ×5. Meaning, if I deal damage with one particular element, then whip out my Elemental Honing Fatebringer, that would be a ×1 damage stack. If I deal damage with 2 different elements, say Void and then Solar, and then take out the Fatebringer, that would be a ×2 damage stack. You have a 20-second window between stacks, which is plenty of time. If you deal damage with all 5 elements, each within a 20-second window of one another, then whip out Fatebringer, which is kind of a chore, but doable, you get a whopping plus 40% damage buff again for 20 seconds. The extra damage can't be refreshed once you hit level 5, which is annoying. You have to start over again from level 1, but still pretty good. Also, the damage buff from Elemental Honing applies to Kinetic Tremors, meaning your Kinetic Tremors could be hitting at up to plus 40% extra damage. Realistically, you probably won't be hitting 5 stacks all the time, but even at Elemental Honing ×2, you're doing more damage than Frenzy, which remember is only plus 15%. That being said though, I'm still recommending Kinetic Tremors and Frenzy just because Frenzy is dummy easy to both activate and keep rolling. You never really have to think about it, and a free plus 15% extra damage is a-okay. You could also maybe go for Rewind Rounds and Firefly if you want to recapture that old magic of using Firefly. However, because Firefly is in column 4, you can't really pair it together with any damage boosting perk, which is kind of frustrating. If you're looking for a PvP Fatebringer roll, first of all, respect. Second of all, you're going to have to take your pick between 3 good options in the 3rd column, either Opening Shot, Keep Away, or Explosive Payload. All 3 of those are fine, and I'd be happy with any, but Fatebringer to my head, I'm going with Keep Away if I was allowed to pick one. But again, with any of those 3 options, I would pair them together with either Precision Instrument, Eye of the Storm, or Magnificent Howl. You know the drill. Precision Instrument gives extra damage, not a ton, but it can help you extend your 3-tap kill range a tiny bit and can occasionally come in clutch. Magnificent Howl is great. With 1 stack of Mag Howl, you can get your next kill with 2 headshots and 1 body shot, and with 2 stacks of Mag Howl, you can flat out 2-tap headshot your next victim. Elemental Honing could be interesting in PvP. Even at just 1 stack, you'd be getting a free plus 10% damage buff for a 20-second window. If you discover that you have a build in PvP where you can continually get 2 stacks built up, maybe go for Elemental Honing. You might actually become a terror for other people. Range or stability mod for PvP and accurized in column 2, and you're good to go. Next, Vision of Confluence. For PvP, let's keep it nice and neat. Zen Moment and Kill Clip, GG. For PvE though, there's a couple roles you could try out. Heal Clip and Firefly, Incandescent and Firefly, Heal Clip and Frenzy, Incandescent and Frenzy, or Demo and and Frenzy. Hey, can you tell I really like Frenzy in PvE? You could also maybe go Rewind Rounds and Desperate Measures if you're feeling that. Rewind Rounds is fun, and Desperate Measures is technically a higher max damage buff than Frenzy, and in PvE, it's not hard to ramp up to max power or keep it going. Totally your call though. For Corrective Measure, I'm looking for PvE only rolls, and I am itching to try out the new perk Demoralize. Precision final blows cause nearby targets to become weakened. I would love to pair that together with Destabilizing Rounds in Column 3, which just got a great new buff by the way. Or you could go with Destabilizing Rounds and Killing Tally, a perk I've loved on my Commemoration machine gun for a long time now. If I got Demolitionist and Demoralize, I'd be happy with that. I like Demo. Firefly and One for All is also extremely tempting. I know that Withering Gaze is over there in Column 4, and if you really wanted to, I guess you could maybe go Withering Gaze and Rewind. Maybe if you're looking for a gun to cook Overload champions with the current season artifact. I will say though that I don't like Withering Gaze on damage dealing weapons, and especially when taking that perk would mean missing out on a damage buffing perk in Column 4. I would much rather get extra damage and apply Weaken via another source, or do it with an energy weapon with Withering Gaze and then swap to my heavy. Farm right now while you can, and again, try it on Master. If you get the Eager Edge sword tech down, this is such a free Adept weapon farm, and not only that, one of the most classic raid weapons of all time. And fresh with new perks, goddammit, you love to see it, so go give that farm a try. I will see you tomorrow for the contest dungeon and the eventual dungeon guide. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.